This one is called the Pats.
Ah.
Wait, how does it go? Do 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 do.
Welcome to Funniest Things.
Aren't you into
The best looking guys
Our
on the
YouTube
radio.
listeners.
We
Oh, I
all
thought
know
you
the
were gonna do
funniest
it for
things
the,
happen when we
listeners.
stop taking
You didn't know
ourselves too
they-
seriously and step out
God.
boldly, like Mr. Magoo blindly
you
stepping
know the
onto the
YouTubers
next
can
swinging
hear us.
girder and falling into an outrageous jackpot.
Oh, yeah.
Your
They're-
hosts, Darrell
they've
and
heard
Ed,
that
are
intro
about to
so many
administer
times.
A refreshing dose of laughter and love that will inspire you to step out boldly and experience the funniest things. Now, here are your hosts, Darrell and Ed.
Ah, yes.
Welcome to the funniest thing,
Yes.
where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Correct.
I'm Darrell,
And I'm Ed.
and we're broadcasting live from Middle School Studios in downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
All right.
And you know what, Ed?
What's that?
Anything less than the best is a felony.
Ah, so true. So true.
That's today's title.
That is metaphysics at its finest.
Well, it's from
Anything-
one of our gurus
Yes.
from way back in the 80s.
Who's that?
Vanilla Ice.
Nice. That was one of my favorite flavors of ice. All right, so anything less than the best is a felony. What are you putting your faith in? Trusting that God will always meet our needs in better than expected ways, we choose to act on inspiration and expect the best. And to help us out during the second segment, Bennett Tanton, a veteran who has served in both the United States Army and Marines, and the founder of Warrior Hall, marches in to read and discuss today's daily word, which is faith.
Yes. It sounded like Worrier Hall, but it's actually Warrior Hall.
Warrior Hall. Yes. Darrell's marching in his new sweater. Now you want to do that little song you were doing?
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
What is that song?
Do do do. Ah, that's my
Oh,
gunny song.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got some, why don't you tell him about the sweater you're wearing?
It's the old Spice commercial.
Ah, yes. Do, 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 do. What is that little tune?
That was the one I just hymned.
Ah,
Yeah,
a
this
little
is-
longer than I remember it.
Lori says I look like a fine English gentleman in this sweater.
You look like a bad guy from the James Bond films. If anyone wants to see it, they can go on the YouTube and check it out. But he's very excited and very happy. It very accentuates the diamond or almond-shaped head very nicely.
It does.
Yes. So today's show is called Anything Less Than the Best is a Felony. You know, we've been quoting Vanilla Ice. This is 2 episodes in a row. Last
well,
week it was our breaths.
We have to give credit where credit is due because it was actually a listener in Germany, Kirk Chelson,
Yeah.
who messaged us these two, both this title
Yes.
and the 3, breaths we're going to be doing.
Yeah, true.
After-
Unintentionally.
Yeah, unintentionally. He didn't know we were going to use them for the show after he heard our last episode.
Yeah, now, the breaths for last week were stop, collaborate, and listen. And
Yes.
this week's show is called Anything Less Than the Best is a Felony. I think we're actually getting all of our quotes from one song by Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah, of course. It's his namesake.
Yeah, so thank you, Kirk, for keeping us inspired and uplifted with these words of wisdom. But today's show, what are you putting your faith in? Darrell and I have been talking about this topic because faith, there's a lot of different angles you can take on faith. One of the things that came up for me when we were talking together was there's a moment where our intuition speaks to us and tells us, do this. You know, we're inspired to take action in some way or not take action in some way. And then our rational mind often kicks in and gives us...
I don't know about this.
Right, because faith is fun and exciting, sometimes up until the point where we actually, our senses, what we're seeing before us, doesn't seem to go with what we're inspired to do. You know, the doubt can creep in because, what, are you kidding me? You're going to say that to these people?
Well, it goes along with what that quote from Marianne Williamson last week.
Yes.
Because I noticed wearing this sweater makes me move like I have a
I
neck
know, I was
brace
going
on.
to say, you can move your neck.
I'm not used to it. Did you notice that? Oh, this is good stuff. This is our last show of the year. But this goes along with what I was going to say, Marianne Williamson's quote, because we're afraid of that higher self, like it's our highest self that we're reluctant to let out of the box.
Right.
And whenever inspiration comes, there's a little bit of fear for me. One, because it's the unknown. It's asking me to do something out of my routine, number one. But number two, whenever I unleash it, it's uncontrollable. Meaning, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
if I have the inspiration to draw something and I go with it, it just flies out of me. And then all of a sudden I go, oh no, how did I do that? I'll never be able to do that. Like, it's so thrilling.
Oh God, yeah.
Because it's because you can't control it, because it's so much of our real self.
Oh yeah.
That the reasoning mind kind of likes this routined self.
Yeah,
but the lesson we're all trying to learn here is to get back to using our faith to give us the courage to keep nudging us so we're able to release that thrilling energy.
And leave the details to God sometimes. That's a big part of the whole process. And then when you got that when you were talking about what we were talking about, I got this idea of like, it's almost like we're waiting in the wings. And from that perspective, it's like, this is crazy. I want to jump out on that stage and do this song or this dance. And then it even looks like everyone else, like, they're going to think I'm crazy too. But really, they're like an anxiously awaiting audience. And as soon as we jump out on stage, they wake up. It all starts to make sense, but in a whole new way.
That brings it, you got to remember that everyone we're going to share this with is actually desiring the same, fruits of the Spirit coming from another as much as we would like to share it. Yeah. It's only our head that's like, oh no, what are they going to think? And then what happens? That's what can happen, and sometimes has happened to me. I'll shut down that spirit. Yeah. I'll shut down the door. And now I clumsily go through it because now it's all on my small self power. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not cut out for this. And I misinterpret the whole event.
And that's why I believe sometimes I get kind of cagey before I take an inspired action, because all the resistance starts to come to the front and the forefront. Like I've had that many times when I'm about to play some music. It's like on a stage, all of a sudden, like I start to understand why people like wreck their dressing room and stuff, because it's like the energy wants to come through, and it's almost like any resistance starts to go in the doorway and be like, no. And so there's like a push and pull going on, and we just have to take a breath and keep stepping out onto the stage.
I can't believe you're saying that, because just last night someone quoted this book called The War of Art. I've never read it.
I think my wife has that book.
So I may be misquoting it, but one thing in there she shared
that
the
War of Art.
Yes. She shared that in there it says, the resistance is so strong.
Yes.
To release the very thing that we love to do.
Yes.
And we'll find excuses to do things that aren't as good. And she took it as, well, that's just our burden as artists. But I took it as, since me and you have been doing this show and working with these spiritual principles, when that resistance comes up now, and I shared this with her, I go, for me, I feel the same resistance, but that's the point I get to choose to be the loving and encouraging parent. Like if I had a loving mommy now, she would say, no, Darrell, you could do this. This is good. No. Draw it on this paper.
Yeah, it's natural to feel doubt.
But this isn't the right pen, and this isn't perfect. No, that paper's perfect, Darrell. And that's what I have to be in those moments, and that's the challenge to all our listeners. When you feel the resistance when you're about to do something creative, that's the moment where you have the opportunity to be the kind and loving parent. Because every time I've done that, I've never regretted it. Yeah, and then I also do what you do. I forget about the outcome and I throw the whole burden onto God. Yeah. And it's magic.
Right.
Happens.
And part of the loving parent that Darrell described, what you heard when the way he was saying, he also wasn't saying you shouldn't have those doubts to that part of himself. Right, no. You got to say, because Darrell had once said that the two most healing words you can hear are me too. Yes. Right? So when I say it, like, it's like my student, or say it to myself, and when I say, oh, it's natural to feel the way you're feeling, right? It's natural to feel kind of cagey. It's because you're going to go do something wonderful. It's like saying, yeah, me too. I feel that way too. And then like our consciousness kind of like the shoulders go down. Ah.
Yeah.
And another thing you could tell your consciousness, to quote the great Vanilla Ice, is,
yes,
dude, if there was a problem, yo, God will solve it.
Oh, that sounds like the perfect
All right, so let's
breaths.
take our deep breaths. Take a breath here. If there was a problem, yo, God will solve it.
If there's a problem, yo, God will solve it.
I'm a little more oomph.
I know, I'm losing my oomph.
If there was a problem, yo, God will solve it. Yeah. We should have added, check out the hook while Jeff Comfort revolves it.
Oh, he just did.
Sure did. Jeff sounded beautiful. His voice is really coming together today.
You're rocking the mic like a vandal.
You're not kidding. All right, so why don't you get to the first reading that you found here from our old friend Joel and Victoria Osteen.
Oh, come on. I'm not afraid to admit it.
Oh, me neither. There's a certain time and a certain place where I put on some Joel, and it is just the perfect kick up the stairs.
Yeah.
I get high on life.
Well, see, that's another thing. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. No, I only listen to people who are teachers from this specific place.
That's right.
Like, get it? Like, it's a smorgasbord.
Yes.
You know, sometimes I'm in the mood for a little Olstein.
Yeah.
Sometimes my stomach can't handle Olstein. Sometimes I want a little Emmett Fox.
Yeah.
Sometimes Florence. Sometimes Tom Thorpe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta be open to all this.
I like the way you throw the eggs into your mouth every different...
It's this costume.
Yeah, it's wonderful. All right, so let's hear the first reading.
This is called Take Off the Limits.
Take off to the limit.
And it says, don't limit what God can do in your life by focusing on what you see in the natural realm. God can bring one opportunity across your path that will launch you to a whole new level.
Launch.
He has explosive blessings in store for you that can blast you out of where you are and into a place of abundance.
Yeah.
Shift your focus from this limited realm. Start looking at God's supernatural realm and see his unlimited possibilities for your future. And that takes the limits off how I'm seeing myself in the moment.
Right, and supernatural means intuitive.
Yes.
Our inspiration, that stuff that comes from inside us that we can't see. And there's a quote that we got from God Grant Me from December 5th, which says, other times our hearts seems to say, do this. It's really important that you take this path. But then our head says, you're nuts. Stay right where you are. Don't change a thing. Don't rock the boat. And that led us to a quote from Florence Scovel Shinn, because oftentimes, like I said, our rational mind can only see
That's right.
what's in the room around us. So the rational mind can be like, what, are you crazy? They're like, where is this going to come from?
This is stepping out of bounds.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could do this.
How are we going to know that anything good's going to happen? And Florence Scovel Shinn in The Game of Life says, intuition is a spiritual faculty that does not explain but simply points the way.
And here, just to back everything up, we always love when science catches up to spirituality.
Yes.
Because even Ed and I could doubt this stuff, and there's something about when a scientist says it's so,
Yes.
we'll believe it. And here it is. Some of the greatest scientific thinkers deeply respected the non-rational, and they aren't afraid to say so. Perhaps it's part of their genius. Non-rational inspires fun, creativity, a connection with others, and a feeling of reverence. We can feel these truths. Our insecurity has led us to overemphasize reason and the control it promises. At this very moment, we may be so focused on figuring out the reasonable answer to a problem that we are blocking out the message which contains the solution.
Yes.
Or I think this said the gut message, which
message.
contains the solution.
Yes, yes. And that's where Darrell always says, don't let reason slip you a roofie. So you go to sleep on your dreams and your inspirations. And Darrell, you gave that, this brings up that, it's attached to our feeling nature.
Yes.
Like our intuition works through the way we feel. And like sometimes we get a feeling and we might be afraid to say it. Like lately we've been talking about how, some Bible quote about maintaining your salt.
Yes.
And we talked to Ellen Davenport last week about this. Maintain your salt. And For me, it's like saltiness is like the willingness to speak my truth and feel my feelings regardless of what anyone else is saying or doing. And Darrell gave an example where his wife, Lori, was getting started on the path to having My Old Dog. Is that the name of the book? Yeah. And in the very beginning, somewhere during the beginning, she was talking to the agent, and she told her she had a feeling.
The agent was contacting Lori and said, "Look, I've always wanted to do a book like this, and I want to know if you're on board. I'd love to represent you." And Lori said yes, and then Lori had to come up with the courage that I would take a lot for me, but not for her. And she said, "Well, I really don't want to have to write the book. I really enjoy doing all the photography." Like, she was able to say no to what she really didn't want to do and risk this agent saying, "Okay, forget it then." But whenever we do that and we act from that really good feeling place instead of doing the little scared worm, I don't want to lose the opportunity. As soon as she said that, the literary agent said, "Oh, don't worry, Lori. I don't want you to write the book. I'm going to get the writer from the Today Show to do the writing of the book. That's who I want to call. And the two of you can partner. That way you're both doing exactly what you love." And oh my God, it was an incredible...
That saved her so much worry. Because I can imagine myself being afraid to say it. And then postponing the good news, you know?
Yeah.
This reading goes perfectly with it. This is from Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, where he says, "Faith is really your consent to let your own uniqueness unfold and to let that which is attracted by your uniqueness manifest in your life." He goes on to say, "Faith is expectancy. You do not receive what you want. You do not receive what you pray for, not even what you say you have faith in. You will always receive what you actually expect." And that's like the quality of like, how good are you allowing it to be?
Yes.
You know, and what I like the fact that your wife was able to just speak, because I know I get up to that place where I see this vision, and then my rational mind goes, "Oh, but you can't tell them this, this, and this.
Oh yeah,
you gotta."
That's
so I
all
start
reason,
and then it creates like this. First of all, I stop expressing my true self, and I start to like hole up, and then resentment builds up. It's so much better to lay it on the line. It literally liberates everyone in the room every time I decide to speak my inspired truth.
Yeah, we're getting close to the break, but here's a key thing our listeners could do, because you were even motioning it for people who saw it on YouTube but can't see it by listening.
Yeah.
Ed and I both realized that as soon as I start pussyfooting around, not being my real self, and I start like going, "Well, I better say yes or I'm going to lose this." As soon as I start moving out of myself and into that acting from reason, I could feel the restriction in my body.
Yes.
And now that helps me as an indicator.
Yes.
Because now when I start to feel that, I know I have a choice, like to encourage myself to just say no. And I've been doing that a lot lately with things. And it has been feeling so liberating. And saying no to what I don't want allows the universe to really deliver the things that I'd really enjoy, like it did in Lori's case.
Yeah, and when I stifle the way I feel or my intuitive nudges, I can end up in situations that are almost on paper look exactly right around the people that look almost exactly right or read the same books. But when I start listening to my gut, I realize I could be in the totally wrong place if I'm not listening to the way who I am and what's really coming through me. And the joy of listening to the way God is nudging me, and the way it's so much more liberating. It's people that I never even imagined knowing. Yes. And unknown people walk into your life, people you forgot about start to show up. Everything starts to look new, inspired, refreshed. It's amazing.
And that's what I mean about it's thrilling. That's why it's scary, because when I say no, because, against my better judgment, I say no. It's almost like I could feel the Spirit come through. It's like you're really stepping out boldly. And every single time, I have never been disappointed.
Yes.
But I could tell you, every time I've not listened to that, and I went ahead and stymied myself through fear.
Oh, man.
I was always disappointed.
Totally. That's why anything less than the best is a felony.
Yo.
It's a violation of the divine law, which promises us the best when we step out on our hunches and our inspirations.
Mr. French is telling us we got to get to the break, Ed.
Sounds good. Well, coming up next, Bennett Tanton, a veteran who served in both the U.S. Army and the Marines, and the founder of Warrior Hall, marches in to read and discuss today's daily word, which is faith. So thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
Called the pants.
I'm going to see what Mr. French has got.
All right.
Yoga.
All right. We got some good stuff coming up here. Yes, we do. Dude. Man, some of the people on YouTube might like this reading.
Oh, yeah, let's give it to them.
And from Emmett Fox, there's a couple. One of them says, some of us have had the demonstrations in our possession for weeks or months and have not even known it. This mistake is caused by outlining. We have unconsciously decided that the demonstration must take a particular form, and because that form does not appear, we think we have failed. Actually, we probably have an even better demonstration than we expected, but for the moment we are blind to it. Seek God for his own sake and for the joy of being with him, and the demonstrations will take care of themselves. So a lot of time our rational mind might think things should look one way, but we got to appreciate what we already have, like Bennett Tanton.
What's up, fellas?
Oh, man.
Oh, wait, is your, what do you call on?
What?
No, I thought I heard our voices.
Your voices?
No, now it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. How are you today, sir?
Good, man. You guys?
Great.
Ed made me wear this English nemesis bad guy sweater.
James Bond bad guy.
James Bond 007 bad guy sweater.
The mock turtleneck.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually a surplus English Navy sweater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made him, even though he giddily ran to his room. He said, should I wear my Sean Connery sweater? I said, what's the Sean Connery sweater? And then he came out wearing it like...
Yeah, but wait. What about in the beginning of the show, I forgot that my neck could move. Okay, we're ready to go back.
All right.
No, not really. This was wanted to get a sound check on Bennett.
Oh,
go
Bennett.
ahead.
Speak.
How do I sound?
I liked it when you were holding the microphone up closer.
All right. Well, it's
Yeah,
got a little
there it's good.
got a little change in studio action here. I'm in my own version of middle school studios.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, bring that microphone all the way up to you.
How was that?
Oh, that sounds great.
All right,
Oh,
we'll do
man.
that then.
Dude,
Oh,
you have
man.
you have your own R2-D2 unit?
No, that's his head. He cut his head.
Dude, that's cool.
He shaved his
Forget
head.
about it. Shaving it all off.
Yeah.
The best way to do it.
Helmet. Bennett used to go, helmet, this gets in the way, and he'd throw it off.
You said
That's
we're...
it.
Put it back down on the desk there so you don't breathe on it.
How's that?
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
good, too.
There you go.
Where's my puffer, man? I don't know where it's at, but anyway.
Oh,
I'll
here we
just keep
come.
it like this.
All right, here we go.
To Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio. If you have a question or
Read this
comment
one at
about
the top.
today's show,
Okay,
or if
you
you'd
do
like
it?
to join
Yeah.
in the
You
discussion,
let us
friend
in.
us on Facebook at Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, or email us at funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org. Now, back to Funniest Thing.
All right, we're back. And you know what, Ed?
What?
Anything less than the best is a felony.
That's so true. When it comes to living these principles, anything less than the best is a felony.
Well, and you get exactly what you expect. So if
That's
you're
right.
expecting less, God says, all right.
Right. Now, don't be confused, though, because God is continuing to give you the best. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a matter of what do we accept into our life.
we limit ourselves
Yes,
to our own idea.
that's why it's
of
so
what we can
painful.
accept. Yes.
And that's why we actually get more resentful when we're living stingy, because it's painful to stop back the flow, hold back the flow of God's good. That's what Emmett Fox from Around the Year, a quick reading from December 12th, said. There's no sin that a human being can commit that God will not forgive, but there is one sin that he cannot forgive until we make it possible. This sin consists in shutting ourselves off from fresh inspiration or guidance from God. If your mind is already made up about everything appertaining to God, if you decide that you know all the truth and that you could not be mistaken, then it will not be possible for the Holy Ghost to open your eyes to error and lead you into the higher truth. When you do change your attitude, enlightenment will come and the sin will be destroyed.
Yeah, if you feel that spark of inspiration to act,
yes,
and you don't,
yes,
that's when I feel. But
yes.
when you feel the inspiration, sometimes it seems like, oh, this seems a little crazy.
Yeah.
But every time I follow through, and if you're not sure of it, don't totally throw it away. You could talk to one of your friends that you trust and say, I mean, someone that you trust, not a naysayer.
Right.
Because, we all have naysayers in our group of friends.
Yeah.
So you want to talk to someone who you sincerely trust, who's living successfully by these principles, or at least faithfully, even though he doesn't call them spiritual principles, you could tell he's in tune with it.
And sit with it, meditate on it, reflect on it more. Because I recommend, most of the time when I get an inspiration, it's still wise because I'm going to have some resistance. And
always.
I like in his reading because usually when I'm really off the beam, it's so tempting for me for some reason to dig in and say, I know it all. Nope, it is going to go bad. Oh. So those are the moments where I'm really cutting myself off. And then I'm trying, it's like I'm saying, no, I know everything. It is bad.
Well, yeah, because then I start making up scenarios in my mind, like mini movies of how it's going to play out in negatively.
And we get what we expect, like you said. Usually we reap more than we sow, like we always say, but we do get some kickback when we're really digging our negative heels in.
Always.
Yeah, so anything less than the best is a felony. We want to thank our listeners.
That's right. And this is the Christmas season.
Yes.
It's our last show of this year, 2015.
Yes.
And if you're doing your last minute shopping, you could actually do some free shopping,
right?
And load up some funniest things with Darrell and Ed on a thumb drive, and you can give that as a gift if you think one of your friends would enjoy it.
Oh yes.
Also, you could get a subscription at an extreme gift subscription at the lowest rate ever through our website at darrellanded.com for the Daily Word, which we read every morning, which is a great tool to center yourself during inspired ideas and to actually regain some confidence, about moving forward.
You can go through the show descriptions. You can find a title you like, or you can find guests that you like or you think someone else might like and pass those shows on. Yeah. Because there's a ton of different types of people, from the military, actors, everyday folk, educators, different kinds of people out there who have come on our show and shared their insights, ministers.
Yeah, we got them all, from all walks of life.
If you want to write to us or send us anything, you can send it to Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232. We were very excited. We have a few things in the mailbag this week from the P.O. Box. And you can always check out our website, darrellanded.com. For our YouTube channel, the Facebook, everything is on there. All the episodes, the show script pages where you find all the readings from today's show. Yeah. The YouTube episode, all the links you need.
Even if someone is in a bind and they're reluctant to maybe call Silent Unity or the prayer line, which we're going to give a shout out to in a minute, you could send them one of the pages from our script pages that you think pertains to their particular problem at that moment, because we have all the readings there. They're very short. They'll boost your mood.
They do it for us. They'll do it for you.
Yeah, they're very reassuring, and they're all there, all for free.
And if you, we go fast sometimes. If you heard a reading and you really liked it, you can go back there and find it. We also have a book list on our website where you can order any of those books online for yourself. Oh, man, it's time to thank the man
who makes this all possible, leaning back in his easy chair.
That's right. That's the man, the chief engineer
at Unity Village. And, he doesn't just make we got to let everyone know. He makes all the shows on Unity Online Radio sound great.
That's right. That's why they love him.
Yep, he's our favorite audiophile.
That is Chief Engineer Jeff Comfort, who each week
he takes us
right into the comfort zone. Yeah. Woo! And you think you just mentioned the prayer line, 800-NOW-PRAY, 800-669-7729, where they've been doing their thing for 125 years, supporting people like us. And they have an app, the letter U, Pray, the U Pray app at the App Store. It's free. You can type in your prayers. You can get an email or a mail response in the post. and it's an affirmative prayer. If you call the line, someone will pray affirmatively for you right then and there.
And they'll continue to pray for
30
30 days.
Yep.
So it's like...
It's so helpful.
Yeah, you have your own team working on it. Whatever that problem or inspired idea you have and that you need prayer support with, give them a call. There's no obligation. And then you could always reassure yourself when you start to worry a little bit about it. No, my team's on it.
That's right. So if you're about to take an inspired step, following your intuition, going for anything, knowing that anything less than the best is a felony, call them up. It'll help you get back into the flow. I use it before meetings, before my son's fencing tournament, anything that's going on. Darrell and I both will use the You Pray or the prayer line to get into the flow and just turn everything over to God.
And one last thing before we go to the Daily Word segment. A lot of times, if I'm not sure exactly what the next step is, I'll do a You Pray texting app, or I'll just put it in my God box, write it down. God, please let me know what the next step is for this inspired, whatever it is, write it down. And I end it with this. Please make it obvious. So that way I don't miss it.
There you go.
And it works every time.
Yes.
And
now we come.
The moment we've been waiting for, the Daily Word segment.
Daily Word is amazing. Darrell's excited because this is the week what?
We get our Daily Words in the mail if you're a subscriber.
That's right. So you can go to darrellanded.com. There's a box there for, not a box, an ad.
A banner
ad where you can click and get a very good deal on initial offer. What do you call it? Like signing up offer.
It's less than 3 cents a day.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't even cover the postage.
That's right. That's right.
And, because I was thinking of Dr. Bruce Banner.
Nice.
It's a banner ad. Like the
Hulk.
I
see. Nice. I was wondering why you were getting so psyched about that. That's good.
I'm also psyched. I got to look rough and tough because of our guest.
Yeah, and they had an offer also, $4.99 for the digital subscription for the year, which is amazing. Now, want to tell everyone who we got coming on here?
Yes, we got our good friend, fellow veteran, Bennett Tanton. How's it going?
What's up, my brothers?
Yes!
Wow. Dude, that voice.
First things first, though.
Yes, sir.
That hat is wicked sweet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it takes a real man to wear a purple cowboy hat.
That's awesome.
I never even know I'm wearing it because the Darrell had us in here in the studio. Before I know it, I always pop it on, and then I watch later and go, I was wearing that hat.
Yeah, it's actually, I think we stole that from Prince's closet back in the 80s when we were drunk backstage.
That's right.
Right before you guys chose the Vanilla Ice song.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. They were going to shave lines into my head like Vanilla Ice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So,
do you want to kick it off with reading the Daily Word for us?
Faith. I have faith in God as my guide. A bird in flight glides on rising air currents and follows its inner navigation to its destination. The bird has learned to let go of fighting the wind. Instead, it harnesses this energy and flies high. Placing my faith in the wisdom of Christ within, I discover I, too, can soar. I rise above any situation and release any need to know what, when, and how all will unfold. I trust God to sustain me, protect me, and strengthen me along my journey. Prayer moves me directly into the current of spirit as I faithfully use my energy to work in harmony with spirit. I am blessed beyond all imagining. I have faith in God as my guide. For you shall not go out in haste, and you shall not go in flight, for the Lord will go before you. Isaiah 52:12.
I like that little Bible thing. The Lord, the law will go before us. When we take the time to especially pray and meditate and do the things that get us really in tune and in harmony with our desires and with God and with life, it is like there's a magic hand that goes out before us and starts to, like they say, make the way straight or clear the way or set up circumstances that we could never do by trying to control things.
True. I also like, it's funny, when Bennett reads it, I hear more things than when I read it this morning.
Yes.
And the part I like too is, like, I don't need to be concerned about the results.
Yeah.
And just know that all I need to do is take this next indicated inspired action and throw the results onto God and still expecting the best and knowing that whatever comes may not look like what I imagined it should look like, but it will always lead me to some better opportunity.
And it may not be when you think it's going to rise.
That's right.
Either. Go ahead.
It's like the let go and let God, like we always say.
Yes.
The glides on rising air currents. A bird in flight glides on rising air currents, and you can look at that as basically God is the rising air that kind of just allows you to glide to get where you need to go without using so much energy.
Oh man,
so much better that way.
And you
so
can
much
feel
better that way.
Well, and I could feel it. I could feel when I'm working too hard.
Yeah.
And I could feel when something is just flowing. Like it seems, we've all had those days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things just seem to.
Well, they say like the
fall
difference
into
between
place.
force and power.
Yes.
When we go one way, we're forcing it. And you can get some things done by forcing it, just pure force. But when we line up with the power, like the power directs the force, and everything starts to move in harmony, and much better than expected outcomes start to happen.
Well, just this week, Bennett's involved with Cigars and Sea Stories, and of course, about the Bunker Bus tour.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a big part of that. So.
Yeah, that you guys are working on. Well, right. Not to reveal too much at this time, but Michael was telling me about it, and all of a sudden, this inspired thought. I go, wait a minute. I know like 3, very prominent people that I'm not just like acquainted with, like one I actually grew up with, that are instrumental in making things like this happen legitimately. Yeah. And I had the inspired idea, let me just send them an email, let me just read it. And it was amazing because I started thinking, man, I started to actually beat myself up. I'll admit this part. I go, man, I have no problem writing a great introductory letter for these guys because it just came to me. Right. I was like, brrr, and I go, holy shit, this is perfect. I fired them off. I let it go. I was excited. And this is the part you can enjoy. Enjoy the moment, that little step. Yeah. Because I was so high off the vapors of just sending those out there on all of your guys' behalf. Just that part alone. Right. That I wasn't even concerned if they got back. As a matter of fact, when I talked to Mike later, I just told him, look, this is exciting. I sent these all out. I CC'd you. You could see everything there. And I said, you know what? Where it goes from here, who knows?
Right.
But I guarantee one thing. At least by just throwing this out, you'll know what the next indicated step is.
Yeah.
And it felt so good, and even now to let it go. And then funniest thing, that less than 24 hours later, that evening, I got a call back from one of the big shots, and who talked to me for 30 minutes on the phone, on their dime, calling me. And they were already piecing this project you guys are working on in their mind. They were telling me how it could work.
Yeah.
Right,
so I was like, oh my God, this is already going out there so effortlessly.
Yes.
Because there's other times where this could be a real struggle, where it's but this was just one of those times, the inspired idea. And I knew it was inspired because, like I said, the email was written within minutes. I just went, wow, how'd that happen?
How'd that happen?
Yeah, and then, of course, I turned it on myself for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And then let that go and fired it off. And I'm really excited about it.
And we greatly appreciate it. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's definitely an inspiring project, and I hope that it will come to fruition. I don't see why it won't, because we're just kind of putting it out there and letting it loose.
Yeah,
that always hears about it is just excited. So, yeah, without giving too much away, it's a very ambitious project, but it's pretty awesome for, the veteran community and just as a country in general, just bringing everybody together.
That's
You know?
wonderful.
And the big a factor of the excitement is it goes perfectly along with today's show.
Yes.
Which is using faith to expect the best. It's got to happen in a certain way,
Right.
but then use that feeling of enthusiasm of expecting the best. However God wants this to turn out, it's going to turn out in some way. It may not even look anything like we're imagining, but though some way it turns out will be wonderful.
Yeah.
Even if this is just a learning process.
Yeah.
But the main thing is to enjoy every
I agree,
step.
because it's like I picture this project when you're talking like it's a big ball of light, and you guys are putting so much energy that's so positive into it, and they handed it to you, and then you were able to, because you feel the energy, pass it on to someone else, and they were able to feel the energy too, because they hear tons of ideas every day, and if it doesn't have that energy, forget it.
Hey, this is the miracle that I left out. Okay, so, I'm no super wordsmith or anything. It's a very simple to the point letter. It's less than 50 something words, because I didn't want to bore them. I sent it out. But that was one of the things that this person said to me right off the bat. They said, I could tell, talking about, because I used Mike as the lead guy in this. Not to leave you out or anything, but she said, I could tell he really has a lot of heart in this.
Yeah.
And I don't know how she read that in there. I didn't write that in there. But the energy through you, like that's out there in the universe from how you guys feel about it.
Yes.
And then how that transfers to me and how I feel about sending this.
It makes it easy.
It all works.
does.
We're all connected. And when we do things this way with faith and not being concerned with the results and going forth irrationally, and trusting in the Spirit and floating on that higher breeze, it's miraculous how everyone picks up on the wavelength.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's all about.
Oh,
You just got to put it out there, and when you put it out there, you realize things have their own timeline.
Yes,
and they happen when they're supposed to happen.
Yes,
and you just can do what you can do and put it out there and let it glide.
That's right.
And if it's real, somebody will pick up on it.
Amen.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
I need to hear this too.
Well, we're coming up on the break. Bennett, before you go, is there anything else you wanted to throw out there about Warrior Hall or anything else?
I actually have a woman that I've been working with. Her name is Samantha, and she needs a service dog.
Okay.
So I've got a website which is Warrior Hall, no www. It's just warriorhall.wix.com. And that will bring you to the page.
Okay.
She's an Army vet, a psychologist that works with our veterans now.
Okay.
But she has really bad seizures and needs a dog to help her.
All right.
This is a big push that Warrior Hall's making right now to get her the money to pay for the rest of this dog.
All right. Well, we'll promote that on our Facebook.
And we'll put it on the page today. I mean,
Yes.
for our script page, so it'll be up there too, and we'll promote that.
can
and
even try to put it on
I
our
really
website.
appreciate it.
All
I
right.
really appreciate it. I don't usually come on here and pitch stuff like that, but this is a big deal.
Well,
to us,
someone's
so.
listening, and someone has that dog.
Yeah.
So it's gonna happen.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, that's another thing to remember. Whatever your need is, like if you're looking for, I like that you brought that up. Like if you're looking for a job, there is someone out there with a position that needs filling. You know what I mean? And just like
Absolutely.
this, there is a dog out there that's waiting for her.
For certain.
Yeah, for her. And now we're just helping God make that align, helping it all come into alignment.
Everything to align.
Yes,
That's right.
and it will.
All right. Well, we're sending love. Samantha is her name?
Samantha.
What's her? Can we say her last name? Is it on there?
I'd
Okay.
rather not.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. We'll
All right,
keep
so
it
we're
at
sending
Samantha.
love.
It is on that webpage.
Okay, so we'll put it out there. Great. All right, Bennett, thank you so much. Give our love to all the boys.
I will. You guys are best.
And all the girls you live with.
Oh, amen. Yes,
Oh,
the
my
family.
Gosh.
Yeah. All right, man. We love you, dude.
All right, guys. Take care. We love you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Coming up after the break, we'll have Joke of the Day, Listener Mailbag, and more. So thank you for listening to Funniest Thing on Unity Online Radio.
You know what's amazing? So many things come up in the show that we never planned.
That's the best part.
that
Yeah.
are like so helpful even to me.
Yes, agree.
For my own little brain.
Right. It's just, man, it just flows.
Yeah.
It's funny because I just got off the phone with Michael. Him and I were talking, and I go, "Oh my God, I got to get out and get on
The show.
so I can get Skyped, you know?
Yes.
So I was literally like, I'm running out here.
Oh, that's
because
awesome.
It's the garage, so it's the only
That's
quiet place in the whole house.
Well, that's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
us.
Exactly. See, so I mean, it's exactly the same thing. So, yeah, man.
Oh, well, it's good seeing you, Bennett.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch.
Guys.
And we're
Yeah,
going to make sure we promote that for you. That's a pleasure.
So the other thing that I've got is we're actually getting a dog.
Oh, you are?
I've broken down and allowed the girls to talk me into it. So I will send you guys because I know Darrell especially and Laura.
Yeah.
Are big, it's a little beagle puppy.
Oh, nice.
So she'll be a figure in all of our stuff now. So
Nice.
Perfect.
I'm gonna train her to be a therapy dog.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
To go to the VA hospital and walk around with me.
Yeah.
And just help
Ah,
them do their
beautiful.
thing.
Yeah,
So-
it's not that hard to do. I mean,
No,
Bennett, yeah,
not.
it'd be awesome.
We actually have a program. It's like one of the continuing ed programs or whatever here that they go through it and they train them, or well, I train them,
Right.
and then they certify. So
Oh,
yeah,
that is
that's-
awesome. I
That's
can't wait to
beautiful.
tell Lori.
Yeah, so I figured you guys would like to hear
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
All right, brother.
Hey,
I
we love
appreciate
you.
it, guys. You love you too. Take
Love you
care.
too. Bye-bye.
Hey, you ended our year on a high note, man.
Yes, you
Thank
did.
you.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, guys. It's
All right.
awesome. Thank you.
Here we go.
Take care, guys.
All right. Let's see here.
We now return to the funniest thing. Here are your hosts, Darrell and Ed, the best looking guys on the radio.
Anything less than the best is a felony.
Yes. Anything less than the best is a felony.
You got a problem? Yo.
God will solve it. That's right. We got to trust our intuitions and our inspirations. Bless our rational mind.
Yeah, and you actually, though, you can use your rational mind if you've missed the first two segments of the show. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is about the only thing my rational mind is good for. Raising a fork to my mouth
That's
when I
right.
need to eat.
Yep.
You know,
Paying attention to the road
when I
you're
drive,
driving.
yeah, or using the scrubber bar to listen to the first two segments. For those of you who stuck with us, we're so happy you stuck around for the last segment.
thank
We had
you.
some great surprises.
Yeah, Doreen Virtue from Daily Guidance for Your Angels, from Your Angels, says, trade worry for faith. If you think back to the times when you're worried, you'll see how these fears never materialized. In truth, there never was and never will be anything that merits being anxious, because the time, energy, and emotion spent on worry far exceed any actual issue that could arise. Today, invest your time in faith, which is a far more valuable way to spend your energy. This is the platform to freedom and happiness that allows you to enjoy yourself. Positive belief is correlated with improved physical and emotional health, and you're at your most attractive in every way when you're relaxed and carefree.
That's true. And we like to say, instead of like when we catch ourselves, instead of stop worrying about what I don't want. I did this last night, matter of fact, because the dogs had to get up. It's the middle of the night, and like 3 a.m., those are the times where all of a sudden, hey, we haven't worried about this for a while.
Sure.
So those thoughts came up, and it was funny because we've been doing this so long, saying instead of worrying about what you don't want, think about what you do want, that now my mind doesn't argue as much and go, that's not being realistic. It went right along with it. I just started seeing pictures of things, playing mini movies of things I do really want. And I'm not talking about a Lamborghini. I'm talking about just general happiness with family and friends and those images in my mind.
Positive, loving images.
Yes.
And you never know when things are going to come. My son wanted to he's been in 2 fencing tournaments. The first one he wanted to get in the top 8. He didn't quite get there in the elimination round, but the second tournament, lo and behold, that's exactly where he landed. His what he put out there did come around. And you don't know when it's going to come around.
Oh, no. And do you want to do the joke? And then we got some quick funniest things.
Yeah. So
okay, we'll do
that
because
then.
this is more of a story that happened to us recently than it is a joke.
Yeah, another trip we had to Unity Village, as a matter of fact. Remember
Visiting
that?
Jeff Comfort.
That's right. Well, Darrell and Ed were hanging out with Jeff Comfort at the pub on the Unity Village campus when Reverend Paulette Pipe walked in.
Oh, I remember.
Before they could say hello, she yelled out, "All you people who want to go to heaven, step to the right side of the bar." So everyone stepped to the right side of the bar except for Darrell and Ed. They were hiding in the corner with Jeff Comfort.
I was just following Jeff Comfort. He ran into the corner, so I followed.
I know. Reverend Pipe looked at them and said, "Don't you boys want to go to heaven when you die?" Comfort said nothing, so Darrell and Ed sheepishly replied,
"Oh, when we die? Sure. We thought you were taking a busload now."
"Yes."
I love going to Papa Charlie's pub.
Oh, it's the best. They serve the best spirits.
Yes, they do.
right.
Whoa! Saved by Gabby. This is what we have to do every time the music plays for the mail.
All
Gabby,
right.
the postal pit bull.
Thank you, Gabby. Here we go.
She's tuckered out from.
Why don't you
carrying
read that
packages.
first one since it was directed toward you
Oh,
directly?
this is from Rachel Gallant in New Hampshire. Hello, Darrell. I received your books and handmade Christmas cards, too. Thank you so much. I will have fun sharing them with family and friends. Here's wishing you and Ed the best Christmas yet. And it's love, peace, and joy, joy, joy. And Rachel sent us another wonderful vanity play, although we can't really call them that.
Yeah.
From her neighborhood. And this one is Amazing Life, and we'll post that on our
Right.
script page. What else we got?
And this one comes from Courtney Johnson in Anderson, California.
Ooh.
And everyone's looking on what's it called? On
YouTube.
YouTube can see the card here. It's a dog. It says "Peace on Earth." Wishing you every happiness during this special season. She said, "Hello, Darrell and Ed. I picked this card for you because I know you both love dogs." That's true. I've been listening to your radio show for a couple of years now. That's so awesome. I'm so glad you have a P.O. box so I can send you part of my tithe. I love your message. You always help me remember to be grateful, be kind, and laugh a lot. Thank you. Love, Courtney Johnson. That
Now-
makes us our day.
I know, because that's someone we've never heard from before.
Yeah.
We're just blown away to get messages like that. And this show really has gone to the dogs.
Yes, it
Work
has.
for Mr. French.
What's
What
this box we got here?
Oh, we also got a package from Sammy Smith.
Sammy Smith. And in the package was these Game of Life cards,
Yeah.
affirmations and inspiration cards. Want to read one of them? Or
Yeah, just today I popped out. I just pulled two out, and they seem to both work.
Yeah.
Which one do you want? Pick one, Ed.
this one.
The short one.
Yes.
Okay. There is nothing too great of accomplishment for one who knows the power of one's word and follows one's intuitive leads.
There's nothing too great of accomplishment. This, if anything less than the best is a felony. That's perfect. Thank you, Sammy Smith.
What else we got?
We also got something here from Laguna Beach. What is it called? The Caribbean of the Nile?
I think it's called the Mediterranean of the Ugandi.
Something of Southern California Riviera. Okay, thank you, it says. Darrell and Ed, words cannot express the level of appreciation and gratitude I have for your show because you step out boldly each week and broadcast the most incredible things that I just happen to need to hear. Funny how that works. I learned so much. It is such a relief to relate and whisper "me too" to myself as I listen. Your stories, readings, and guests are what I look forward to. Merry Christmas. Love, Stephanie, Havelka, and Mr.
Yeah, I think
Dude,
it's
that
the
is
Riviera
awesome.
of Southern California.
Yeah, and we got, look what we got also in there.
This is going to make Jeff jealous.
Oh, and there's little,
Affirmation cards.
yeah.
Oh, belly flops.
Belly flops are imperfect jelly beans. Life isn't perfect either, but it is still sweet. Enjoy, Josh and Stephanie. That is so awesome. All right, we have a couple.
This is the magical fruit.
Yeah, the more you eat.
The more you toot toot.
That's right. We had a couple funniest things we wanted to get to.
Yes, real quick, Courtney Johnson's tithe,
Yeah.
funniest thing, came right after we had to have an outlay of expenses for our website hosting.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Timing.
Perfect. Yeah. Right when we were going to pay for them.
Yes.
You have another funniest thing?
I have another funniest thing. Which one should we do? Because I know we're stuck with time.
We got a couple minutes.
Okay, well, there was one that
whichever
happened.
one you want to tell.
Okay, there was one. This shows you don't always get what you want, but you actually no, you always get what you want if you're willing to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like we said in the Daily Word, let the
Right.
wind take you. So I was at one of our favorite coffee shops,
Yes.
and I said, I'm going to get a cup of coffee here. There was somewhat of a line, and there was only one person in front of me by the regular coffee.
Yeah.
But he was having a lot of problems with the credit card
Right,
machine, and and the host working with him was kind of reluctant. I
Right.
could feel my tension going, well, they're not, I'm not important, just stupid.
Yeah.
And I go, wait a minute, Darrell. Then the higher self talk, Darrell, you really don't want this type of coffee.
Yeah.
You really want a deeper flavor. You
Yeah.
would really like a Starbucks now.
Yes.
Wouldn't you? And there was almost a little reluctance. No, but I'm going to stay here and I'm going to be tolerant and loving. But that's packing the musket.
Yes.
So I was sane enough to follow that intuition.
Yeah.
I walked there, like the lights turned green,
Yeah.
like automatically. There was no line in Starbucks, which I even said to the guy at the counter, and the guy at the counter knew me from before, the guy with the tattoos who looks like he shouldn't have tattoos.
Yeah.
And he said, grande with very little room? I said, yes. And I'm walking back and I'm going, this is exactly why. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel any animosity towards
Right.
anyone in the other shop either.
Yeah.
And had I not followed that lead and pretended to be a good boy, I would have been packed like dynamite full of animosity. You know what I mean?
Last weekend, I had one where one day I was at the beach and it was like pounding me, and I was like, oh, you never know, I might get the best barrel of my life. That's when you get inside that barrel and you're riding. And it didn't happen that day, but the next time I went surfing, I was turning everything over to God and just just relaxing. And the most beautiful wave I've ever seen just came right to me. I dropped in, I like the daily word. I just glided in effortlessly. I put my hand into the water. I never had anything like this. The whole thing was head high, perfectly barreled over me for a 3 count. And then I flew out of the barrel like perfectly clean. People were in the parking lot were going like, I never seen a wave like this, and they were bragging. There was like 6 or 7 guys in the parking lot talking about something, and I walked up, and they're like, this is the guy, and I got like parking lot celebrity status. But,
nice.
But it was like interesting that the session before I had put the kind of idea out there,
there.
but you never know when it's gonna happen.
And
it was effortless.
That's what Bennett said in the second segment. You gotta let it out, like be expectant, but like it's almost like don't outline, but expect the best.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so we got a guest. Yes, hello,
Guys.
Oh my God, it's George Michael from Wham!
Hello, gentlemen.
Wow.
I hope you don't mind that I came into the studio today. As you guys know, back in the day, I got in a little bit of trouble.
I wish I had my Choose Life t-shirt and my other one.
Yes, if I had found Darrell and Ed back then, I might have avoided some of my shenanigans.
Why is that?
Well, I guess it would be nice if I could trust your nudges. I know not everybody gets nudges I do, but sometimes I think twice before I give my heart away. And you know all the games I play, cause you love me true. Oh, I need some time off from bad emotions, time to pick my heart up off the floor. When that love comes down with such devotion, well, it takes a strong man, baby. But I'm walking through the door, cause I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. Said I gotta have faith, faith. I gotta have faith.
Okay, visit DarrellNed.com for everything you've heard on the show today. It's all for free!
Warrior Hall!
That's right. You can also get the Darrell and Ed Twitter feed. You can also, which we really encourage you to do, go to the Funniest Thing fan page.
Bennett
Funniest
Tanton!
Thing. It's Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. Or,
Stars and Sea Stories!
like Courtney Johnson, you could write to us at Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California, 90232. But most of all, as always, thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed on Unity Online Radio.
Time to pick my heart up off the floor. Woo! When that love comes down with such devotion, well, it takes a strong man, baby, when I'm walking through the door. Cause we gotta have faith. We gotta have faith. We gotta have faith. We gotta have faith. Yeah!